All right, so this next part is probably the most important part, is how to save your work. Now, let me explain it first, and I'll show you in real life like why it's important. So PSD, you want to save it as a PSD, a Photoshop file that retains all your layers. So when you go back to editing your Photoshop file, you have all your layers saved. You can manipulate the layers to be different colors, so on and so forth. JPEG automatically turns the background white, and then PNG keeps the transparent background. So I'm going to show you in real life how that works. First thing you're going to do here is, ooh, look at my amazing design I finished, all right? So I'm going to go to File, and then I'm going to go to Save. Once you click on Save, you're going to save on your computer, okay? And make sure that you have the name, whatever you're trying to name it. Right now, we're just practicing a logo. So you're going to go down here, and then you're going to click on your computer, and then you're going to choose where you want to save it. So I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go to my Photo and Video 1.2 folder right there. And then in my folder, I have my Lighting, Portrait, and Photoshop folder. I'm going to save it in here. Okay, it's going to be named Practice Photoshop PSD. And make sure that the format is Photoshop, not Photoshop PSD, but Photoshop. And then I'm going to click Save. Click OK. Now I have a copy saved in my Photo Video 1.2. Lighting, Portrait, and Photoshop folder. Click on that, and then I have my practice logo file saved right there. Okay, so the PSD is going to allow you to save all your layers. So let's say I quit this, all right, and then I go back and I double click on practice logo PSD. Photoshop opens up again, and all my layers are still intact. All right, that is the reason why you need to save it as a PSD Photoshop file first. It's very critical to have that saved first. And then you can go, all right, well, I have a friend who wants this to put on their web page or whatever, some business you're working with. Go to File, go to Save as Copy, and then you're going to save this as not a Photoshop file, but as a JPEG file. And then click on the name. Make sure you name it the way you want to name it. I'll just leave it as copy for now, for the sake of saving time. Click on Save. And then I'm going to save this as a maximum file type and the maximum size. Click OK. Now, this is not a Photoshop file. If I right click on this and I open it with Photoshop 2025, notice how this is a JPEG, okay? The copy JPEG does not retain any of the layers. This is where a lot of students get mad at me. They say, hey, you told us to save, and I saved it as a JPEG, and I don't have any layers anymore. I'm like, bro, did you save it as a PSD file where you can save all your layers? I don't remember. Well, then you need to go back and redo it. Okay? So that is how a JPEG is saved, and a JPEG creates a white background automatically, which is not good for when you're trying to do something like this. So let's say I'm trying to put this on a transparent background. Look, there's a white, right? There's this white right here that's blocking text. Okay? Now, what you're going to do now is save it as a PNG. So you're going to go to File, you're going to go to Save As Copy, and then you're going to go to, instead of JPEG, you're going to go to PNG right here. Click on that. And then make sure you have this named whatever you want to name it, and then .png at the end. And I'm saving in the same folder, so I'm going to go to Save. Click OK. Now, again, if I were to open this in Photoshop, the PNG file, right-click, Open in Photoshop 2025, here's the PNG file, okay? Oh, I saved the wrong one. Oops. What I should have done was go here. My bad. Go to Save As Copy. Choose PNG. All right. So I'm going to replace the old PNG too. Replace it. Click OK. Now, when I go back and I open this copy 2, right-click, Open with Photoshop. Oh, shoot. I didn't want to open 2024. Darn. Anyways, you get the point. Okay, this is Photoshop 2024. Look, the layers are not there, but look at the background. It's what? Transparent. Okay? Now, there's a reason why, is because you can bring that file into, let's say, Google Slide. Look. See the difference? One has a white background, which is your JPEG, and the other one is clear background, is your PNG. That is the reason why you save all three for different purposes. Does that make sense? Okay. So this on the right is used for putting on videos and stuff to brand your videos. This on the left is like for building website. Maybe they just want to see a white background or another background, so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Okay. So there are advantages and disadvantages to both. So what you're going to do is save it as a PSD only. Make sure you save it as a Photoshop file first. Format should say Photoshop. Okay. And then to submit your work, all you got to do is go to this full screen, Command 0, screenshot, Command Shift 3, and then you know what to do with the rest. All right? Go ahead and go do what you need to do.